All right, welcome back to Source ABV. Welcome to part 2, or I should say version 2, of making your dirt bike, specifically a kickstart, 2-stroke, 4-stroke bike with no headlight, no battery, how to make that bike street legal. Hey. Part 2 here, this is going to be the simplified version and kind of more like the ultralight version in the whole process. Basically, this is not going to be using one of those Tusk or Baja Designs dual sport kits that you can get. This is not using any of that stuff. I did hijack a little bit of it for my wiring harness because it was easier, but you don't have to. You could theoretically build this entire kit off of just knowing how to put some wires together in a good way, and I'm going to walk you through that. So everything in this part, from the regulator rectifier forward, is still the same, right? So I'm not going to talk about the stator, I'm not going to talk about the regulator rectifier at all in this one. We're just going to talk about how to make it so that you can get down to a very simplified handlebar controls, very simplified headlight controls, and also some changes that I made to run the lithium-ion battery a little bit safer and make sure there wasn't going to be any discharge for that. Also, no more turn signals on this bike. I pulled them off. I actually just get a hold of one of these fenders from Tusk. It was like 20 bucks, so I just got a new one that didn't have turn signals. I'm going to take those turn signals, throw them on the DRZ. 3 of the main parts that you're going to need to make this happen, that you kind of have to get outside of just like getting a bunch of wiring and that sort of thing, is going to be some kind of horn button for your handlebars. I actually really like having a horn on this bike. It's really nice to have on the trails. It's really nice when you're in highly trafficked side-by-side or Jeep trails and you're coming around a corner and you just blast the horn a couple times, make sure people know you're coming. So you're going to want some kind of horn button. This billet horn button came from Amazon. It's super reasonable, very simple 2-wire lead that just connects a circuit, right? So when you press the button, it connects a circuit. The other thing that I got was a KTM style moto-minded headlight switch for behind the headlight. KTM on their bikes and their kind of enduro bikes always runs a kind of a pull stick headlight switch that sits right in front of the handlebars. I really like that, so I got one of these ones from Moto Minded that had a much longer pole. That allowed me to stick it behind the headlight fairing here and still be able to get it from sitting on the bike, and it's super solid, super simple. I guess the third thing is that lithium-ion battery. You don't have to do that, but this one is actually really nice and lightweight. It's a little bit lighter than an RC car battery, and it has a lot more cold cranking amps in that battery. Sorry, it's an RC car style battery. I noticed it when, that the horn was much louder, the headlight was much brighter, the taillights were much brighter. There was no weird dimming of either of them when I turned it on. The key no longer activates a relay in the back anymore. That's going to be another big changing point in this video, is that the key actually only turns the bike on and off. From this point forward, because I'm putting a lithium-ion battery in here, which is really susceptible to low voltages, so if you draw a lithium-ion battery down a bunch, they get really dangerous and potentially explode. So that's not cool. So I didn't want to, accidentally leave the key on and have the taillights or something draw the lithium-ion battery down and light my ass on fire. Oh, Jesus! So what I did is instead, in the first video we talked about a trigger wire here on the voltage regulator rectifier. There's this switched power wire that's on that voltage regulator rectifier. Basically means when the bike is running, it puts power out to that wire. I leveraged that to fire the same automotive relay that I actually took out of the first kit. So there's that relay you can see in the Airbox. It's just kind of held together with a bunch of little zip ties. So I tried to just make it so that none of the stuff could move. This is actually just really loose. There's one main fuse right here That's power. That's for the whole system, for everything, which is really nice. But that actually turns on the whole accessory system now and the headlight at the same time. So basically, the headlight, the tail light, all the brake lights, the horn, none of that will work until the bike is running, which is actually, to me, far safer with the lithium-ion battery. So let's talk about the wires that come off the voltage regulator rectifier. So there are 3 wires critical to the charging system here, to the battery system. There is a red wire, black wire, and then a red with an orange stripe. That red with the orange stripe is the wire that basically only turns on when the bike is running. So super simple, red wire, black wire, come down this very, very simplified harness that I made. It's just, it basically has red wire, black wire, the trigger wire, and then it has the headlight and horn power that comes up to the front here. And you can see it's very nice and small. But it is really nice to have a far lighter and smaller wire here. And it just routes up and kind of, see if I can see that for you guys. It just routes up and goes up and over behind the back of the headlight case there, so that it can have plenty of room to move around. It's not rubbing on anything. I use that wire loom tape that I talked about in part 1 to make it nice and clean. And then it comes right down to the horn, and it just goes right up behind the headlight to this very simple on-off switch. So basically, power comes up to one side of the switch. I run a lead off of that goes up to this horn button here, and then another one that comes back down and then goes to the horn itself. And then I was able to tap into the ground wire right here for the horn, and then just run the other ground directly to the headlight itself. Super simple system. This switch is super burly. It has a really nice positive action to it, and it just mounted really nice to the side of the headlight there, right on the inside. So, and this horn switch is really cool. It's billet aluminum. I bought it from Amazon for like 10 bucks, and it works great, looks cool, kind of matches the Scott steering stabilizer, and it matches the gold X-ring chain that I will put on when this chain is worn out. So all of this is looking really simple. There's nothing else on the handlebars. This kill switch has been moved over here, so it's upside down, but who cares? But very simple handlebars. Nice big horn switch right there. So, but yeah, getting back to the harness. So coming off of here, right, is just a few, the red, black, and trigger wire. That comes back. That's the biggest point of the whole harness right there. So this thing's roughly 5 wires. There, the brake light switch kind of comes up and joins with the main part of the harness, and then it goes to the airbox. One of the other things I was able to accomplish by redoing this was be able to pull the subframe off. So with the Tusk system, they actually don't put any like quick disconnects right here. So what I was able to do instead was just do a bunch of very small quick disconnects on the battery and everything. And this battery actually has eyelets like a normal battery, so you just can kind of, you know, screw them in with eyelets, and it's super straightforward. And so you can actually disconnect this whole system from the back by unscrewing the battery. You do have to pop these zip ties, which is not great, but you can drop the subframe, which is awesome. So all in all, like if you're looking at the parts, this battery is about 110 bucks. This little switch is like it's about $18. That light switch is about 35, and you know, the headlights like 150, the tail light is like it's like 18 bucks. So you could do the whole thing for kind of almost cheaper than the kit and have better functionality. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, go ahead and put them down in the comments below. I'm pretty good about responding. And there'll be a wiring diagram that you can download in the description that explains all the inner workings of this simplified system. It's pretty straightforward. Please remember to subscribe. I will be doing a budget kind of ADV build on that DRZ 400 back there, and I'll also be doing a full build review on this 2019 YZ250X. It is basically as worked as you can possibly get, and it's street legal, as you now know. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the ride. Take care.